Welcome to a new episode of Grab Life by the Horns and our brand new series, Networking with UK Business Minds and Leaders. The beauty of living in different countries is having the opportunity of building a meaningful and global network. The idea behind this series is that you meet successful entrepreneurs, leaders, and innovators from the UK and have the chance to connect with them without investing your own time to pick the cherries out of networking event after networking event. Having this said, I'm thrilled to introduce you to our special guest today, Federica Whitefoot, the creative mind behind Whitefoot Interiors. Based in the heart of Cheshire, Fed has established her own interior design studio where modern organic meets Mediterranean warmth. Originally from Italy, Fed brings a unique touch to every project, infusing her designs with the cozy ambience of the Mediterranean, all while ensuring that each space is functional and beautiful. With a deep commitment to personalized collaborations, Fed works closely with her clients to create interiors that are not just visually stunning, but a true reflection of their individual styles. Welcome, Fed. It's so great to have you here.
Hi, thank you so much, Jenny. That was a mouthful. I'm so sorry. Yeah, thank you for having me here.
Anytime. We know us already for a while, and I thought it's really interesting for the people to meet you and look a little bit behind the scenes. And this is where we start. So, having heard this introduction, which is amazing already, but what we don't know yet about you, tell us a little bit with you in the past, and tell us the journey, your success journey until you became an interior designer in Cheshire.
Okay. Well, how far back shall I start?
You wish.
Well, as you said, I'm from Italy, so I did my university degree in Bologna, and I studied musicology, so nothing to do with interior design or anything like that. Then I started to travel a lot. I went all around the world doing entertainment, fitness, and all of that in, the big resorts where you have the annoying person say, "Come in the water jeep." That was me. That was one of, yeah. And then during a season, I've met what is now my current husband, and he's British. So we decided to relocate. First of all, we were in Bristol for 10 years, and I did all sorts of jobs, whether it was customer care, I did sales, I did all of that until in 2016, I was laid off. I was made redundant from my sales job. And I thought, well, you know what? I speak a few languages. What can I do with that? And I retrained to become a language teacher in secondary schools. So I went to Bath University, did my PGC, and started teaching. And that was great. And then got pregnant, and my husband said, well, do you know what? We have a little baby now. Why don't we go back to Manchester, where I'm from, because my family is there, so we have all the support there. I said, okay. Had to leave my job. Of course, when you teach, you can't take your school with you. And then, of course, it was 2020, COVID, lockdown. I had a 1-year-old at that point, and yeah, it was stressful. I'm not gonna lie. And that's when I discovered the beautiful world of interiors. Well, I always loved interiors. In Bristol, we had a Georgian house that we stripped down and we refitted completely. So yeah, I knew that was already something of interest to me, but never thought it would be my career. And then during lockdown, I discovered the wonderful world of Instagram and all of the homeowners and everything. And that's how it started. I opened my personal account, which attracted quite a bit of, curiosity by local people as well. So Cheshire Life magazine ran it was 11 pages, actually. I was quite shocked.
Wow.
I know, it was amazing. And then they reran it a few months after in the free version, which was Cheshire Living, I think it was called. And I believe now they've changed the way they work. But anyway, that was great. And when COVID is, I started to do interviews to go back to school and thinking, okay, I'll go back to work. That's just a hobby. But every time I went to a school, I felt something in my gut that said, that's not right. That's not what I want to do. And with all of the goodwill in the world, Britons is not is not inclined to learn languages. You are German, so you probably have noticed that, but teaching languages in British school is really hard because kids don't want to learn. Parents care very little about it. As long as the kids are good in maths and English, all was fine. I got paid not as much as anybody else doing the hours I was putting in, and the amount of admin paperwork, it was just too much. And being a mom, I thought, well, I don't want to be a stressed out mom. I want to do something I love, and my son is happy that, I'm happy. So decided not to go back to schools, did about a year and a bit of adult teaching of Italian. So online during COVID and everything, I started to do lots of lessons teaching adults that wanted to learn my language. And while I was doing that, then I retrained for doing my interior design diploma. And yeah, that was it. I took my diploma and then found a part-time job so that I can still have a small income coming in while I was setting up my business. My business was set up, and now it's been almost, in November will be 2 years.
Wow, what a journey!
I told you it was a bit of a journey.
Yeah, as a successful entrepreneur, we both know like having challenges is like basically part of the game.
Oh my God, yes.
We can hear already, like when you tell us your story, I'm sure there are like quite a lot of challenges you had to overcome.
I must say, when I tell the story, because I always do the condensed version, it seems, oh yeah, it was a breeze, The last 6 years were like, yeah, all good. It wasn't, it really wasn't. We're here now, and that's good.
I can imagine it was not, and most entrepreneurs out there can imagine for sure the same way, because you go through different things and challenges. So the next question is, and do you have a challenge where you're really proud of yourself that you did overcome it, but you did not thought, okay, well, how can I manage that? How can I overcome that? And yeah, what was it? Describe it a little bit.
Well, yeah, I do have, I have one personal, which was, well, I have two actually, not one. The first one was conquering my fear of my accent and my language when I do social media. So I try to be very present, especially since launching my business on social media, because this is how people understand what I'm about, what do I do, my style, my way of, doing my job. And every time I hear myself on a camera, and I'm sure it will happen even with this recording, I generally cringe. I generally cringe because I sound so not British, and that's great. And I know people can understand me, and my English is not bad, but it's just, that was probably my first big, the thing I've tried to overcome over the years. And the second one was that at first, when I, of course, decided to drop teaching, which, it was a big commitment. I've done a PGC training. It was, and also is a secure job because you have something safe to go back to. Convincing my family that I wanted to do something different, that was not an easy path. That was not easy. And it took it took a bit of I think what it took was for me to be sure that this is what I wanted to do, and be sure that I put all of my resources to even demonstrate to them that it's not a fluke, it's not a hobby, it's something I'm really, really, really passionate about. And now that my business is successful, I'm having I'm having clients, I'm doing all sorts of things. I'm just happy to prove them all wrong, to be quite honest. I'm just proving them that you didn't believe, but here we go.
Amazing. Yeah, I can rely on, or I feel you with the language. I'm the one as well who is always discovering that we are not from the UK.
Yeah. And you can clearly say that, I'm Italian or whatever, but
yeah. It's the same here. Like my son speaks a perfect British English, I would say. And when he talks and I start talking, oh, you're not from here.
Yeah, same, exactly the same. Yeah.
Well, it is like it is.
It is what it is, exactly. Yeah.
What values do you like? Can you name me 5 values do you have that you think that are the secret sauce of your success?
Ooh, let me think about it. I think what is truly at the core of what I do, and people that know me and people that work with me will immediately see, is that I am very upfront, very honest. So um, I always fear that people that have never used an interior designer before don't quite know how it works. So building that element of trust is a must. So I would say one of my core values is probably honesty and trust. Then it's hardworking, because believe you me, the amount of hours I've put into this business is incredible. So yeah, with teaching job, you work long hours, but probably 40, 42, you maybe stop there. Here I work every day of night, and evening, weekends, it doesn't matter, but I'll do it because it's my passion and my job. So that's what I want to do. And the last two, collaboration for sure. I love what I do because it's not me dictating what we do with a space. It's more about what my clients need that place to be. So collaboration is another one. And I don't know, the last one, I guess integrity, because I will not do something if I don't believe in it. I always say I'm an interior designer based in Cheshire, but I'm not a Cheshire interior designer. And a lot of people say, what do you mean with that? I am very sorry, but I don't do Cheshire wives' houses of grey on grey on grey, blink on blink on blink. I like texture, I like warmth, I like different textile. I cannot do grey carpet, grey walls, and chandeliers with all of the blink. I can't do that. So yeah, integrity is probably my next one, because although everybody needs to work and clients and everything, I will missell myself if I say yes to a client I know our style will not work with.
Yeah, this is an amazing point to follow up with, because the next question is already like, did you already reject a client?
I did reject one client, but only because they were a bit I wouldn't say the word rude, but forceful, let's say. They were quite forceful. And they asked things to be done today for yesterday. And they didn't appreciate that I was not doing this as a hobby. So they wanted to pay the minimum, and they wanted everything right now. So they wanted me to go at their house and tell them exactly what went where in that morning visit. And of course, being an interior designer, you have a process to follow, not because it's my process that I've put together. It's just because it's like when you get dressed. So if you pick up the first thing from your wardrobe, you'll end up with a mixed match of things. But if you think about, okay, this is what I want to look like, this is the vibe, this is the, I don't know, the shirt I want to wear, then you put everything together. So it's a process. And that's why I said, I'm really sorry, perhaps I'm not the right interior designer for you. I cannot work this way. So I'm really sorry. I will, I gave her some recommendation of other designers that maybe had more capacity than me, or maybe they matched more that way of quick thinking and everything, but it was not for me. So yes, I did.
This is really interesting. And having this said, like, how hard for you was it to reject the client? Because I know that, like, especially when you're starting off and you say basically every client, you count with every cent or with every penny, whatever. How hard for you was it really to reject this client?
It was incredibly hard, especially because it was at the beginning. As you know, my business is still, I say still at its infancy, because it's not been even 2 years. And everybody in this industry will tell you that it takes between 2 and 5 years to actually build yourself in the industry, a portfolio and everything. So it was really, really hard. But I knew, first of all, that the aggravation of taking that job will not be worth any amount of pay that they would have bring me. And as I said, I've chosen to do this career because I wanted to be a happy Fed, like I wanted to be a happy me. And taking somebody that I knew would not work, will not make that objective of, I'm doing this job because it's my passion and I wanted to do it because I want to be happy in it. So I stuck to my guns, whether it was the right thing or not, I don't know. But you know, when you feel it in your gut, if something works and something doesn't, and I believe in the value of feeling your gut and following it through. And maybe it's because I've done previous jobs before, so it was not like I'm not a 20-year-old starting a new business. I am somebody who has a past and has been in business in various ways. So yeah, I just went through with it.
I think there are a lot of important pieces here for somebody who wants to start a business, who is just like struggling with some challenges maybe as well. And there are a lot of good advice packed in this,
I don't know.
in this last few minutes.
Well, do you know what? I just had a conversation with somebody and he said, oh, it must have been hard to, you know, reinvent yourself after you had a career and, you know, and I'm like, well, I think you can change your path even when you are well in your 50s, 60s, 70s. Just need to do what works for you. And everything you've done in the past is not lost. It's never lost. It's just there and you can build on it. But if, let's say, I was teaching for so many years and then didn't work, why carry on with something that doesn't serve the purpose anymore? And if COVID taught me one thing, is life is too short to do anything that we don't appreciate. So
and you said like a really important thing as well for those for the moms between us.
Yeah.
Like being happy has such an influence on our child, or children, whatever, how many you have, but it has really a huge influence. So if you're not happy and if you continue being unhappy, they will pick it up so fast, and you can't really, like, I knew that children pick up things very fast, even if you don't think they pick it up, but I really understood it once since I have my son.
Yes.
And he understands so much more than I'm aware of. And the process of the children's head, it's amazing. So,
and it does have an impact. I'm not saying to any mom that is unhappy with the current situation to drop everything like that and just go. But if they do know that something isn't working, find a plan, find a way to change that situation. But having, you know, I didn't start the business. I had a part-time job that I did together with raising my son. So doing all of the pickups, all of the drop-off, and doing most of the work at night, at the weekend, every time I was busy doing something else. So yes, you can change your situation, but don't think it's going to happen overnight. It's a lot of hours, a lot of hard work, and you really, truly need to want to do it. That's because it's always very easy to say, oh, yeah, you're unhappy, drop everything. Yes, do it, but do it in a mindful way, if you know what I mean, because if not, you end up then having all sorts of other issues, which I'm not saying you should.
This is so true. Do you have actually a slogan for your life or motto? Do you live after? Or do you teach your son maybe as well?
Well, no, this one is a motto that I have since I was probably a teenager, and it comes from my favorite Italian singer, which is, I went to one of her concerts in 1995, and she stuck with me all the way since. And this was one phrase that she had, which was, things will never go as you think they would. And that's something that is always at the back of my mind. So yeah, that's my kind of like, I don't know if it's a motto, but it's something always here that I always think, okay, I'm planning for something, but if it doesn't happen, first of all, have a plan B if you can. And if not, just roll with it. And it was a very useful lesson when I was in teaching, because you can when you do the training, they spend hours on telling you how to do a lesson plan, and you spend hours to master minute by minute what to do. And then you open the door of your classroom, you go in, and within 30 seconds, it's gone. Gone. The kids are doing whatever they want. So you can either panic that the plan is not going somewhere, or you can just roll with it and think, okay, things will not go as I want to, but that's all right. It's okay.
Amazing.
So, yeah.
What are the next steps for you professionally? What do you plan in the next years?
Oh, I have just been accepted actually for the NatWest Accelerated program in terms of business growth. So this is a 6 months program that is free to access for most small businesses. You just need to go through their application process and whatnot. And they have cohorts every 6 months. And it's something because when I retrain as an interior designer, I have mastered the interior design part. Nobody told me that when you launch your business, this is the interior design part and this is the business part.
So important, so important.
Yes. So I wish I went to a business school rather than a design school, just because. Yeah, so I think that's it. So the plans for the next couple of months, years, or whatnot is just to master the business side of things better, to improve processes, to improve profits, to improve collaborations as well, because one thing I always try to do is to collaborate with local businesses if I can. We are having conversation with a local photographer and a local personal stylist, and we're putting together a package which is like changing somebody 360. So I will change, let's say, their home office. Let's say they are a business. Let's say, for argument's sake, is a businesswoman launching like we did, and her office is a mess. She doesn't have a space in her house that she can sit and do her job. So I will come and sort that out. She doesn't have, clothes or anything that makes her feel like, okay, I'm a business owner now. That person will come and do that. And then branding pictures, all sorted.
Yeah.
So I am trying to find, because the industry in interior design and in every other industry, there are always peaks and quiet times. I'm trying to create different way of revenues and income, just because a business, I don't believe, can be one streamline only, unless, I don't know, even the biggest company like Apple and everybody, they are all trying to do all sorts of things. So
they have their own ecosystem. So yeah.
Exactly. So I'm trying to diversify my business with, of course, the main focus is my residential clients and what I do best. But then something on the side like collaborations or workshops is something else I love to do a lot. Being a teacher, I know how to explain things in an accessible way. And I've run a workshop where I taught my clients how to put together a mood board for a room of their choices. So when they tackled that project as a DIY project, they knew that, okay, if I like this paint, I need to match the sofa with that. So they saw a little bit of the process. And actually, when they saw how hard it was, they said, actually, you are actually not that, that dear. I really want your services at the end. Because the amount of work compared to what I was charging was like, actually, so that was good. That was really good. Because I think people underestimate the processes. I know I say that a lot, but it's true. Nowadays on TV, you see a lot of TV shows that demonstrate how to sort your room in 30 seconds with £1,000 and you're done.
Yeah.
You can easily do that. It won't last a week, but you truly can. And if you hear all of the people from these shows on the aftermath interviews, they always said that they have a huge crew afterwards to redo all of the work, because you cannot expect anybody to do what they do for a TV program in real life. So
well,
I think
obviously if they're still painting before you come 20 minutes later, like obviously, and like the pictures are already hanging on the wall.
Yeah, so like there was a lot of misconception. Yeah.
Because sometimes if they do the bathroom, if somebody has already made a refurbishment, like they know, like it takes time.
Yeah, and not just that, they don't understand how much thing costs. So let's say I had a few clients say, oh, I would like a decorator to paint my room. And I said, okay, but your budget is this. And if you take a decorator, that will take quite a bit of a chunk of your budget compared to do it as a DIY project that is literally putting a lick of paint on. And I'm not saying everybody should do that, and everybody could consider having a trade to do the job for them, but they also need to be realistic with the cost of things. And use budget wisely. So if there isn't that large pot to use, try to see where you can maximize of things you cannot change. Like if you want flooring, you cannot make flooring yourself, but you can paint a wall yourself. You know what I mean? So
Yes. Yeah,
it's a bit of a give and take.
that's really true. Before we slowly come to the end, I have another personal question.
Okay.
So because I love, and I learned this from somebody with a great network in London, basically. And she said, tell us something about yourself that is very unique and we can't find by research on social media on the World Wide Web, basically.
Oh my.
That really, where you stick out and really people remember you.
Ooh, let me think. I could, oh, well, you could see it on social media, but I don't post it very often because it's probably on a story here and there, so it's nothing you can actually find. But I love music and I'm a singer, so that's probably it.
I think I saw this already. So you're in a choir, right?
There you go. So you see, it's not even that after. No, yeah, I don't think.
So what kind of music do you like to sing then? It's gospel or like
No, but well, my favorite is musicals. I love musicals. Yeah, and Disney music.
Well, who doesn't?
Yeah, so no, I think that's probably it. So huge musical fan and huge singer fan. So yeah, singing fan.
Amazing. Everything is really emotional. Like it has the emotional touch from what you're doing. Like interior designing is really emotional as well.
Yes,
like
and I'm Italian. I mean, you have.
Of course.
If I didn't have that, I would not be. I think they will take my Italian passport and shred it if I didn't have that type of.
Next to interior designing and music, is there anything else that you are passionate about and love to talk about topics? For example, if you meet people on networking events or on social media.
Yes, I do actually. So I have been through the motion, especially since COVID and everything, suffering of anxiety a lot, especially during, even now with all of the riots that are literally next to where we are. And so mental issues is something that I'm very passionate about. So when I see people that is a bit careless with their words and their actions and everything they do, I struggle with that, especially as a mom. As you said before, kids are sponges, and I am very careful on the word I use on a day-to-day basis, on the comments I made in front of him, even if he's just passing by and said, "Oh, that girl looks stunning." There is a lot of this, and between anxiety, body image, and all of that, I'm very, very aware of that. So if there is anybody that have, sharing experiences and stuff, I always love to discuss that. And I believe there is more value in connecting that way than just say, "Oh yeah, that guy is saying that, let's leave it as it is." Doesn't quite work right with me.
We have a lot of things in common. I just realized.
There you go. There you go.
So I'm sure there are a lot of people out there, they think the same, and they are happy to connect with
I hope so, because in 2024, I'm still baffled to see some people making or doing certain things or saying certain things in front of kids, especially. And there is so much resources out there. There is so much, accessible things that they can literally go and educate themselves, because just because you don't know certain things, it doesn't mean that you're excused. In 2024, you can literally go and find official research and proof, not what Facebook said, and base yourself on empirical evidence, which is what we need to do.
Yeah, that's I totally agree. And I'm struggling with this kind of things as well in my environment. So I have a lot of
I think many about that. I think many will be struggling with the same things, especially, in the last 3 or 4 years. It's been all over the place with all, in 38 years, I never have expected a global pandemic, a war starting in Europe pretty much, and protest in England, which seemed to be the safest place in the world. It seems all mad, and yet it's happening. So it's how we deal with that.
Yeah, I agree. And well, I will stop it here because I could, like, if we start talking now.
I don't know how we went from Disney to that. I don't know.
That's a good point.
Anyway,
if there's anything what I did not mention yet, but you would love to highlight for the audience, to know what you maybe something I didn't ask yet, and you said, okay, this is so important, and I want to share this before we end this.
I think what I would like to share, first of all, is saying thank you, because I always love to connect with people, and if anybody wants to get in touch with me, I just love to hear from people, whether it is about interior design or anything else. Anybody, just give us a shout. And yes, one thing I would like to get more into is on the commercial side of things. So whether there is something that is a B&B or anything like that, because what I love the most, and actually what I love the most, is storytelling with interiors. A few months ago, I did an application to become a stage designer for like big films and production, which that will be, honestly, my passion with everything artistic and interiors. That's, if you have any connection in that thing again.
I have two connections in mind. Like, once we stop the recording, we get in touch.
Oh my God. So when you say, what is your dream job? That will be it. That will be like, and so yes, so I want to use my career as something inspiring for me, for my son and everybody else. So if I can manage to do my dream job, that would be amazing.
That sounds so amazing. And for everybody who wants to reach out, like, your links will be below this video. So
thank you. But if you search on Google Whitefoot Interiors, it should be all there, hopefully.
It is. So all links will be in the comments or in the description below, so everybody can reach out to you. And yeah, I'm really, really happy that we had the chance, and that you
thank you so much.
Thank you so much. It's amazing. And I love to learn more and see where this journey is taking you, to be honest. And I'm happy that we are basically working anyway, more or less together.
I was going to say, I think from September we will even more, isn't it?
So is it. And yeah, thank you so much for being here. And
my pleasure.
Then yeah, everything, all the best for you in future, and make sure people reach out to you. See you.
Thank you so much.
Do you want to get paid? Introducing Legacy Builders Global, where everybody gets paid. We don't create investors. We create legacy builders. Legacy Builders Global. Visit us at www.legacybuildersglobal.com.